If you saw one of my last videos, we thinned this spot out a few weeks ago, but I left this small Doug fir tree because I wasn't ready to have it on the mill yet. Now that I'm ready for it, today we're going to cut it down, put it on the mill, see how much lumber we can get out of this small tree. It's good timing for this too. This morning, as I was having breakfast, I turned on the old YouTube. What did I see in the feed? I saw that Dave from Old Man and the Saw posted another video. It was another good video of Dave milling up a log with his trusty wombat at his side. Okay, maybe not literally at his side, but more like up here. In that video, he was milling up a small Colorado blue spruce. Someone left a comment on that video that appeared to be insinuating that it was pointless to cut down small trees, that you should leave them for 50 years so they'll get bigger. He may have meant well, but it appeared he was trying to suggest that what Dave was doing was pointless, without actually knowing the story of what he was doing. The timing on that worked out well so that today I can show you why a lot of times it makes a lot of sense to cut down small trees. We'll get this one on the ground and I'll show you some of those reasons. I want the tree to go that way, but it's leaning this way. We're going to have to wedge it over, which can be difficult on small trees because a lot of times there's not enough room for the saw bar and the wedge. There is the potential here that it won't work out right. I'll get my saw pinched in it and we'll have to pull it over with the tractor. I'm going to try to push it up through those pine trees because that's where it will do the least damage. There's also a chance it might get hung up and not be able to push through, which again, we'll have to pull it over with the tractor. If you notice, this is a very shallow undercut. The reason I did that is because I needed to wedge this small tree and I needed to leave room for the chainsaw bar and the wedges. If I would have made the undercut back here, the tree would have tipped back and pinched the saw before I was able to get a winch in. Not a winch, a wedge. You don't put a winch in there, you put a wedge in it. If I was to post cutting this tree down on YouTube Shorts, I can guarantee all the know-it-alls would be telling me, you are doing that wrong, it's not the proper way, and on and on and on, because they didn't bother to find out what the real story is. I'll show you some of the reasons why you should sometimes cut down small trees. If we take a look at the tree rings, since I'm having a little fun today at the expense of negative commenters, hey look, I do carry tools. A few people might get that. This tree's growing along nicely, not super fast. But here you can see the rings get really tight. The tree starts slowing down in growth. A lot of times that's because the tree's overcrowding. It's competing with other trees for light, water, nutrients. Well, if you notice, something happens right here. The growth takes off. For a few years, now it's starting to slow down again. These rings where the growth takes off is about the same time I cut down this tree and this tree. Those two were small trees I took out, which allowed this tree to start growing better. As you can see here, it's starting to slow down in growth. If I was to leave it, it would end up having rings like this. And at this rate, in 50 years, this tree wouldn't grow very much. So now's the time to take this tree out so the trees around it can now start doing this. This site is also better suited for oaks like this and these over here. Since this tree is slowing down in growth, the trees around it are better suited to the site, it's a good idea to take that tree out, even though it's small. Since the tree is slowing down in growth, and since Doug fir in this spot are prone to bug kill, it probably wouldn't ever become a big tree anyway. If you're wondering why I put the logs here at an awkward angle instead of parallel to the mill, because there's stuff in the way, there's stuff over there in the way. It was just an awkward way to get the tractor in here. So I had to settle for this, but they're small and they're easy to move. Today's Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. It's time for me to go get ready to have Easter dinner. I'm going to have to finish the sawmill part of this video tomorrow. It is now tomorrow. Welcome back, everybody. Wait a minute. Why am I welcoming you guys back? You guys didn't go anywhere. I'm the one who bailed right in the middle of a video. Welcome back, me. The sun just came up over the hill. It's almost warm already. It's starting to feel like spring has finally sprung. And I got to have tacos for Easter dinner yesterday. Did any of you guys have tacos for Easter dinner? Okay, maybe we're the only weird ones. But I recommend it. I also recommend we get these logs on the mill, see how much lumber we can get out of this small tree. Another reason to sometimes cut small trees down, sometimes they have really nice lumber with very small knots. More really nice wood with very small knots in it. Apparently this has become the official, okay, here's what I got out of that log, or what I got out of that tree spot. Here's what I got out of that tree. What did I get? 14 1x6s, 3 1x4s, all 8 feet long. It's about $90 to $100 worth of wood. To cut the tree down and mill it, if I wasn't doing video with no distractions, I could do that tree to mill to here in probably 2 hours, 3 at the most. Another reason I wanted to take this tree out, I knew there was potentially a rotten spot in it. These 2 boards have this bad spot in them. That was from an old sun-scald scar. Try saying that a million times twice. A million times twice? I mean, try saying that a whole bunch of times fast. I mean, try saying that 10 times fast. Sun-scald scar. That rotten spot is compartmentalized in a small spot now, but it was right in the middle of the most valuable part of the tree. And if the tree was left to grow for 50 years, it could have very likely spread to much of the rest of the tree. If you have a vigorous, healthy tree, in many cases, if not most cases, it's best to leave it, let it grow. But the point here is, there are many times when there is a good point in taking out small trees. And when you see an older man who's doing something that he's obviously good at doing, I don't think there's any point in insinuating that what he's doing is pointless. That's a man who you should be asking questions. That's someone who you can learn something from, including telling you what he was doing. He was milling up a spruce tree that his dad planted 50 years ago because it blew over. And when you make comments like that, there could be some younger guy who sees it, who hasn't yet developed enough sense to mind his own business, who has a childish response to it and makes an entire video about it. But that's okay, because this childish reaction video is now over. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Here's what I got out of that.